Good day, lords and ladies. Squire William once again with another look at my fantastic helmet that I love so much. Once again, it is about 14 gauge stainless made by Shark Armory. You can see that I've done a repair on the nasal, but everything else about it has been celestial. This titanium Aventail was given to me by my Knight Avalock, and I installed it, cut it, sewed it, stitched it, made the leather strip that it attaches to, riveted it, and did all the things. What I'm here to mostly talk about today is my chin strap. Okay, so I just call this a 4-point chin strap. I've heard it called many things, but I've partly removed it, and this is basically what it looks like. An X here and an X here. This space is where my chin goes, and I'm going to talk about how to make it and how to fit it and how to put it in. So if you do not have helmet anatomy at the back here, you need to make 2 slots. It took me all day to make these 2 slots with drills and blowing up drill bits and Dremel and hand file, and finally I got it to where I thought maybe the edges would not tear up my straps, and that was good. Didn't buff around the opening, like you can see some sort of witness marks from my errors, but this is very hard metal to work with. It's work hardened and it's stainless. So first thing you're going to need to do is make sure you have anatomy at about that level that is right for running a chin strap in if you want to do it this way. Okay, so we have a horizontal chin strap here that goes across the front of my chin, and a vertical chin strap which anchors here and goes under my chin. What those chin straps look like. So this is the horizontal one. Because the buckle is on the end of the strap, I can't just pull it out of the helmet. So that's the last thing you do. Once you get it all fit and perfect, then you install this buckle, and then you can't pull it out of the helmet anymore. Okay, so the horizontal one is that one there. It's about 2 years old. It's made of biothane. There's like maybe a little bit of wear and tear on the edges, but it has held up very well. I think maybe that crack was there when I installed it. Okay, and then the vertical strap, which isn't quite vertical, kind of goes at a slight angle, not a 45, a slight angle, mounted somewhere in front of the ear, below the temple and above the cheekbone, and it goes underneath the chin. So this vertical one prevents the helmet from coming off. And the vertical strap I make like this. And the reason I have 3 rivets and a tab on there is because I wanted to put something beefier on the end here and make the strap narrow. So the mount is a wide piece of leather, and then the strap going across my chin is more narrow, so it's more comfortable and normal, and it's not this giant wide thing. Because I used biothane, I didn't think I could use fat biothane and then trim it down in the area of the chin. So I made a leather tab, and I believe I may have made it too long and then shortened it, and that's why there's so many rivets. Or maybe I just did that because I wanted to make it really strong. I don't remember. So the first thing you have to do is build this vertical chin strap. So the rivet goes here, goes under the chin, and it's not at a 45-degree angle. It's maybe like a 30-degree angle. Okay, so this is the strap that holds your helmet on. So if your helmet already doesn't have a mounting hole about there, make a mounting hole. And I used these Chicago screws. Is that what they're called? These 2-ended screws. With the idea that I'm going to break this chin strap or it's going to fail, and then I'm going to have to repair it or replace it. So I do not rivet this. I rivet everything else but not this mount. Okay, so you'll need a 1/4-inch hole if you have a 1/4-inch Chicago screw, which these are from the hardware store. And then you want to use a piece of tape or something, and it's a lot better if you have a friend helping you with this. Put the tape in about up to the mounting hole here. Where is it? And then run it underneath your chin and then back up to the other mounting hole. So you put the helmet on, you get the piece of tape, and then if you can have a buddy put a pencil in the hole and mark the tape, then you can get it to about the right length with 2 marks on it. Okay? There's other ways to do it. You can use the actual fabric or the actual strap material and hold it in there, but the hole makes it, you can't really see in there. So maybe you can reach in there with a paint pen and mark it, but you need to get this measurement from the hole underneath your chin to the other hole, because that's going to be permanent. Some folks put a buckle there, but I don't like using a buckle. I just like to make that chin strap fit. Okay, so you get the length of the one that's going underneath your chin perfect. Get it ready to install, get your screws and your rivets all dialed in, and then you're gonna cut your horizontal chin strap a little bit. You probably want to give yourself a few extra inches and then trim it down to length later. Again, you want to figure out the length from one slot all the way around the front of the helmet to the other slot with a few inches, maybe 6 inches of wiggle room here, and then you need enough room on the end of the strap to make this. So put your buckle on, rivet it, and then, oh look, I put a Chicago screw in my buckle so that I don't have to pry a rivet out if I need to replace the strap. So I just unscrew that and then remove the strap from the helmet completely, which I'll probably do in a moment so that everyone can see. Okay, so how far apart do these 2 rivets go? Well, if you mark the center of your vertical strap by kind of folding it, lining up the 2 holes, assuming that your mounting holes are about level on the helmet, kind of fold it like this and make a little mark there on the underneath the chin strap. And then separately, before you rivet these, install this strap, run the end out, buckle it with the helmet on your head, and figure out approximately where your holes are going to go when you strap the buckle down. Then, if your buckle is too far this way, when you tighten it, you're not going to be able to tighten it all the way because the buckle is going to run into the hole. If you mark the center to where it's too far this way, then when you buckle it down, this shape is not going to be centered on your chin. Okay? So, you want to figure out where this is going to sit in its working life, and then mark the one that goes across the front of your chin, this horizontal one we're working on. You want to give it a center mark also. And then when you line up the center mark you made on this one to the center mark you made on this one, then you know where the center of this shape is going to be. And that's going to go around your chin, right? So, people with beards need a bigger space in this opening. People with a small chin and no beard, like me, need a smaller space. But you want to make sure that this doesn't slide either way off your chin. You want it to sit comfortably, like so, on the chin, where it's got plenty of room here and plenty of room here. This is not going to be adequate, and obviously that's going to be too much. So You want to make this shape sit perfect on your chin, and then you get an idea of where these rivets have to go. It's okay if you screw these up. They don't deal with a bunch of abuse in their working life. They're not being pulled or pried at. They just kind of sit there and hold the two rivets or the two straps in place. All right. So, last thing you do after you put those two rivets in is you're going to mount. You got to make sure that your strap is not twisted, so follow it with your hand. That one's going to go across the front of the chin. This one's going to go underneath the chin. So those two ends go in like that. I have my Chicago screws loosely mounted on here. So find the mounting hole, push the end of the Chicago screw into the hole. And I don't recommend Loctite in these. I've made that mistake before, and it's just a pain in the ass to get out. So when you mount the Chicago screw, you might even want to put a little bit of oil in there, because these deal with a lot of sweat running down inside your helmet. And if you fight in the rain, then these are going to get wet from that as well. All right, so one vertical strap. Get your Chicago screw ready. Your other vertical strap. I don't remember which hole I used here. I'm going to try the rearmost hole. I got two mounting holes going on here. I guess maybe the more forward one is the one, because there's a more recent rust stain around it. Let's see. For whatever reason, there's a second mounting hole there. Alright. So, having that vertical strap in there makes it real handy to carry your helmet. It gives you a handle. You don't have to grab it by the nail or stick your fingers in the eye slots and risk spraining your finger. And then the last thing is the end of the horizontal strap goes out the second slot. Alright, so I got this rondelle just hanging on here on the chainmail. Sometimes it wants to sit like this when I'm putting the helmet on. I just tuck it in there as I'm putting the helmet on. And so then this rigid protection on my neck vertebra combined with the nail and the padding makes it very safe. I've been struck in this thing quite several times and it works great. Alright, so when your helmet is strapped like so, let the nail slide over your head. So now the chin strap is just kind of hovering in front of my chin. A lot of times I can just grab the strap back here, pull it onto my chin, wiggle a little bit, and then that vertical strap goes underneath my chin and it stops the helmet from coming off. Sometimes I have to reach in there, pull the strap onto my chin, and then I can buckle it. I have put the buckle on my right side because on-side shots are the most common and they hit me in the most different places. So over here you'll see there's no danger of the buckle getting hit. Over here the buckle can get broken, but I just never get hit there. So off to the right side is where I've made the buckle wind up. And you can see the buckle is not bottoming out here and it's not bottoming out here. There's plenty of room. So that has to do with when you mark that center to line up the two centers on the straps, you got to make sure the buckle winds up in the right spot. All right. Part 2 of my tour of my magical Sugarloaf helmet. Thanks for watching.